So today we are going to start with the second chapter of your syllabus, which are functions. Okay, so we have already finished a review of Python basics, which was actually the syllabus which you had covered in your last previous year syllabus of class 11. This was carried forward in your class 12 syllabus also in the form of chapter 1. This was very important as far as your examinations were concerned. That is why I tried to cover it as much as I could in the part of in the form of 11 lectures. Okay, 11 lectures videos I have already uploaded. So I request all of you that before starting this new chapter, first go on and revise all the 11 videos, go through your book also. Okay, because I couldn't it's not possible to cover the whole book in the form of videos. Okay, so but I have tried my level best to cover the most of the important parts of the syllabus. So you go through and revise all the portions. If there is any problem, then you can tell me afterwards. So today now we are going to start with the second chapter. Okay, I will also be giving you some assignments based on your first chapter. Okay, very soon, maybe tomorrow. Okay, so let's for now, for the time being, let's now start with the second chapter, which is functions. Okay, now what is a function? First of all, we have to introduce that a function is a programming block of codes which is used to perform a single related task. It only runs when it is called. See, function, we have discussed it also before also, but we haven't used the functions much. So what is the function? I think all of you must be knowing this. It is a programming block of code. It is a block of code means for it is set of instructions. What is a block of code actually? A block of codes is a set of instructions which is enclosed by which has been indented together by using spaces, okay, and colon. Okay, the colon and spaces are used for creating a block of code. Okay, we are not using here curly brackets or any other specific symbol for creating a block of code like we do in other languages. In Python, we are just using a colon and spaces after that, indentation after that, to create a block of code. So what is it is actually doing? It is that block of code which is used to perform a single related task. Single related task, it may be addition of two numbers, it may be finding out the maximum of the list of the values, it could be finding the minimum of the set of values, it could be any related task. So it should be a single related task. Okay, single related task means the objective should be a single one. Okay, all the instructions, all the statements should be related together to perform a single task. Okay, it only runs when it is called. A function will never run on its own. Okay, you may define a very big function or you may define a small function. Whatever type of function you define, in all the cases it will not run as until and unless it is called by the main program. Okay, or you can say the driver code. Okay, driver code is the code which is calling the function. Okay, we can pass some data known as the parameters into a function. So this feature we have been using in your previous classes also. See, we have used a lot of predefined functions. What we do in the predefined functions, we are always passing some data. Okay, so this data is known as the parameters. Okay, a function can also return some data as a result. Okay, it can use some data, it can accept some data values. See, why do we use? All of you are familiar with the concept of input, output and process. This is the basic concept of a computer. Okay, the similar concept is there in the case of functions also. Function can be also be taken as a function, can also be considered as example of a process or a processor only. It's actually a process is a function only. So what is there? We are providing some values to the process for it to do processing on that. Okay, see, whenever we want to perform some task, sometimes we have to supply some values also. Unless and until we supply the values, it will not be able to perform the task properly. So we have to, we can have, sometimes we need to supply some values in the function, sometimes we don't need to supply values. Okay, both cases may be possible. Sometimes we may need to supply values or we may not need to. Okay, and what it can do, it can also return some data as a result. What is the result? The end result of the processing. Okay, what is the function doing? Function is processing on the data which either it is creating by itself or we are passing to the function as a parameter. So after the processing is done, what is left? Some processed output is left. With that processed output is returned by the function as a result of the function. Okay, we have already used some Python built-in functions. We have used actually many functions. Okay, like print is very most commonly used function which I have used before, but we can also create our own functions. Okay, when now what actually we are going to learn is how to create a user-defined function. Okay, these functions are called user-defined functions. Now first of all, let us go through the advantages. Advantage is very simple. Program development made easy and fast. See, why it is easy? Because work can be divided among project members, thus implementation can be completed fast. See, if we're not creating different functions for separate tasks, then what will happen? The whole all the tasks will have to be performed by a single piece of code. Okay, by a single block of code or by a single program, we have to carry out a lot of tasks. So that developing that program becomes much more difficult. Okay, and it takes a lot of time also. Okay, and it is very difficult to divide the work between the number of people. If there are number of people working on the project, and if you're creating all the tasks in a single program without any defining any separate function, then what will happen? You will not be able to define the work properly within your team members. Okay, because there will be very confusion as to what code whoever is writing, because somebody may create duplicate code, somebody may not create a proper code at all. People will make mistakes while defining the code in a single program without defining separate functions. But if you are using separate functions, then your work can also be work can be divided and distributed very efficiently among the various project members. Okay, and your work implementation will also become very fast. Okay, program testing becomes easy. See, when we have a lot of when a program is divided into a lot of functions, then what will happen? You can easily locate the error in whatever portion of the program or in whatever function in the program the error is happening. Okay, that you can easily test, and you can easily locate the error. If the multiple functions were not there in the program, then it would have been very difficult to locate the error, to test the program and search for the errors in the program, because it becomes very messy. Okay, if you define a lot of if you said assign a separate function for every task, then it becomes very neat and it becomes very readable and understandable, and also it becomes very easy to test the function for the errors also. Okay, easy to locate and isolate a faulty function for further investigation. Now third one is code sharing becomes possible. Okay, the function may also be used later by many other programs. It can be used the code sharing becomes very easy by using the functions. Okay, a Python programmer can use functions written by others instead of starting over from scratch. If you don't define function, then what will happen? It will be very difficult for any programmer to use your code. Without writing the function, it will not be easy for using the code by some other person. But if you're writing a function, then what you can do? The programmer who is using your code, he can use the function very easily instead of creating the whole code by himself. Okay, or him or herself. The programmer doesn't need to create the whole code from scratch if you are defining the code in the form of separate functions. Okay, code reusability increases. Okay, reusability means what? The ability to use the code again and again. That is the meaning of reusability. The code reusability increases. I think it is very clear. Okay, why? Because a function can be used to keep away from a function avoids the rewriting the same block of code again and again. So if you're writing the same block of if you're writing a function one time, then you can just use a function in your program. You can just call the function in your program for performing the specific task, and you don't need to write the whole set of statements again and again. You just need to call the whole. You can write the function once, and every time you need the function, you can just call it, and it will perform the task for you. It means that the same piece of code which is in the function, that can be used again and again. Okay, if you are it is used to keep away from rewriting the same block of code which we are going to use which we are going to use when two or more in two or more locations in a program, and it is to be used in two or more locations in a program, that is much easier to use. Okay, this is especially useful if the code involved is long or complicated. So I think it is clear to all of you. Increases program readability. Okay, readability is also increased by defining different functions. Okay, the length is reduced of the source program. See, source program means the main program, its length will be reduced. Why? Because if we have to see, for example, if we want to calculate, we have to calculate the addition, the sum of two numbers 5 times in the program, then we have to just define a function for adding two numbers once in the program. Okay, we just have to define the function once, and whatever amount of times you want to add two numbers, 5 times, 10 times, you have to just call the functions that number of times. Okay, so you don't need to define the function, you don't need to write the code for adding two numbers again and again. So in this way, what will happen? Your code length will be reduced, your program's readability will be increased. Okay, so function, so now sixth one is function facilitates procedural abstraction. Procedural abstraction means what? That only those most of the details of the program implementation are hidden from the end user. See, end user is not required to know about the details of the program. What are the actual complicated details of the program, which algorithm is used, which functions are involved, what is actually written. Sometimes he or she is not required to know about such minute details. So sometimes in those cases we need to hide the actual programming details from the user. Okay, so once a function is written, the programmer would have to know to invoke a function only, not its coding. It means that a programmer needs only to invoke how to a programmer needs to know how to invoke a function. Invoke a function means call a function. So for calling a function, what a programmer needs to know: the name of the function, the parameter which a function takes, or the argument, you can say whatever arguments the function is taking, and the return type of the function. Only three things are important for a programmer to know before calling a function: the name of the function, the parameters which a function is taking or accepting, and the return value of the function. If the programmer knows these three things, the programmer can use any type of function in his program without the need to know about the actual coding. How is the function defined? Which set of statements is the function using? Okay, which logic is the function using? The programmer need not know the logic of the function if it is not required for him. The programmer only needs to know about the how he can invoke the function by making use of the function name, function arguments, and the return type. Okay, so this is known as procedural abstraction. This procedural abstraction means what? Hiding the details of the procedure from the end user, okay, or the programmer also. So it means the function facilitates procedural abstraction from the programmer. Now last one is functions facilitate the factoring of code. Okay, a function can be called another function. It means that functions could be nested also. Okay, a function can be used to call some other function. Okay, you are dividing a function, and that function can also be used to call some another function also, and that second function can also be used to call some third function also. Okay, this also is facilitated by this factoring of code is also facilitated by using functions. This factoring we all will understand much more when we will learn nested functions in the coming topics. Okay, within this chapter only we will study about nested functions. Okay, and recursion and all these things we will learn. Okay, the recursion will come in the later stage, but how to nest a function inside another function, that we will understand in the later portions of the chapter. Then we will understand this advantage more easily. Okay, now how do you create a function? Can we call a function? A function is defined using the def keyword in Python. Okay, def keyword used to create a function. See, my own function is example of function here. Okay, this is a function block which is created by using a colon. See, first you use a def keyword, then you write the name of the function, then write the parenthesis, then apply the colon. Colon indicates that now the function body is about to start from here. Okay, then you have to specify the indentation of 4 spaces by default. Okay, and then you write the whatever lines you want to write in, or you have to include as the block of 4 as a function body. That function body you have to write after specifying 4 spaces indentation, and then after your function body has finished, after you have finished writing a function body, then again start writing the next line from without indentation from the level of the function header only. Header means the def keyword line. Okay, after we have finished writing a function body, then the next line after the function body will be starting from the main level heading, or main level heading, you can say from the function header level only. Okay, like look, you can say here the print statement is within the function bodies of the print statement is indented inside here. Okay, and then after the function body is ended, now the next print statement which is outside the body will be at the same level of the function header only. Okay, it will not be at the indentation level as the function body. Okay, it is very simple function. Okay, see what we are doing here, we have written just one line code in the function just for printing hello from function message here. Okay, and then the code which is written at the bottom is the driver code, or you can say the source program. Okay, you can say it is the main source program which is calling the above function. Okay, so first we are printing the message here, print hello before calling a function. So this message will print before calling the function. Then what we are doing in the next line, we are calling the function by just writing the name along with the parenthesis. Okay, my own function is the function name, and then since this function is not accepting any argument, that is why we have kept the parenthesis blank. We are not specifying any argument in this function. Okay, we are just calling the function by mentioning its name and the empty parenthesis. Okay, so then what will happen, this function, when this function will be called, then whatever statements are given inside the function body, all these statements will be executed in a sequential manner. Okay, all the statements will be executed in the function body, and then after the statement after the function has finished executing, then any value which you want to return from the function, that value we can return by using the return statement. Okay, and that whatever value has been returned by the function, that return value can also be saved by assigning it to some variable. So here we are not returning any value, so here we haven't used any return statement also. Okay, we haven't returned any function, haven't returned any value from this function here. Okay, it is very simple function, it is just printing some one message here. Okay, what will happen when this function will be called, this message will be printed, hello from function, this message will be printed, and then this function will end. Okay, now again we will come to the third line, which is print hello after calling a function. Okay, so if you want to check this function, you can, it is a very simple program, you can copy this function in your program, in your system, on a system, in a Python file, and we can execute the program to see how output is coming. It is very simple. Output is there. First, what will happen, hello before calling a function will be printed, then inside the my own function, hello from function message will be printed, then the last message, which is hello from after calling a function, that will be printed after the function has finished executing. Okay, so in the next we will end this video here only. Okay, in the next video we will start with the variable scope. Thank you.